All right, so what is a comp or a compressor? Essentially what that is that's taking your signal, and when it gets to a certain point, it's starting to duck it down slowly so that way it doesn't overload the rest of your inputs. I use compressors on almost every single input. Some I use a little bit more aggressive than others, like a bass guitar. I love a super heavily compressed bass guitar, but for a vocal mic, you really don't want to have a ton of harsh compression. You just want enough to where when they really dig into the microphone, it starts to compress their vocal just a little bit. You see a lot of the same parameters on the compressor that you do with the gate. You have an attack and release time. You have your threshold. You also now have a ratio, so how much it's getting compressed, and you have a gain, so how much are you going to add after it's compressed. Let's pull that kick drum back up. I'm going to want my attack to be pretty quick. I like it pretty snappy. We'll probably go half a millisecond or so. We'll go a little bit slower of a release. We'll also take our ratio to like 4. Let's go 4.5. When we turn it on, you can hear how it starts to compress the signal. Let's take our threshold up a little bit because it sounds a little too aggressive. Let's also take our ratio, maybe pull it back to 3.5 or so. Because it's ducking it down, you can see we're ducking it down quite a bit, almost probably 8 dB. You're going to want to add a little bit of gain just to supplement that. So I'm going to add 4 dB of gain here. This kick drum's really starting to sound good. All right, so now let's go to our vocal and let's try compressing our vocal. So when I play it,
through every storm, you'll be faithful for...
You can hear he's really digging into that microphone. So let's start with a little bit of a softer, maybe a 2.5 to 1 ratio. And let's go with a decently fast attack, a medium quick release, about 157 milliseconds.
Through every storm, you'll be faithful forevermore. You have done great things. We believe in you, God, and I know you will do it again. For your promises, yes.
You can see when he has those plosives, those promise and stuff, he's really digging into that microphone a little bit, and that compressor's catching it. It's not hitting the PA very hard. Now, something like bass is something I would probably compress a lot heavier. Let's play our bass guitar. Turn our compressor on. I typically start with a 7 to 1 ratio on a bass. Let's start with a super fast attack and a 100 millisecond release. And I like a lot of compression on bass with a lot of makeup gain. You can see there's a lot of compression there, but it's matching the overall feel of the song. Worship music has a lot of compression built into it. One thing to note, always ask your guitar players what kind of pedals they're using on their pedal board. A lot of them now, especially worship guitar players and bass players, are carrying compressors on their pedal boards. And the reason why they're doing this is so they can do this themselves. Typically in worship settings, I don't even compress electric guitars anymore because all of the electric guitarists I work with all have compressors built into their pedal boards, and I don't want to add any more compression on top of what they're already doing.